Hello, everybody. Michael Hart here. I'm very pleased to announce today that I'm going to be launching a series of webinars that are really going to, how do I say, build out your expertise as an effective advocate for your child with dyslexia. Now, if you've been following my work at all, you've probably already started to begin to build your map. And that map is going to help you understand what are the key components of taking care of your child. And that is the understanding of the test scores and how they're interpreted. So this series is really going to take you to the next level. I'm very excited about this, and I think there's a couple of reasons why. I think the true value of this next series is that not only do we build on your existing foundation, but each webinar is based directly on feedback that I've been getting from the community, and it's going to provide very specifically aligned content that address your most pressing issues and concerns at this point. Now, you get the benefit of my 25 years of experience. I'm going to answer all your questions, but I'm also going to help you take a look at data in a way you didn't probably even realize you could. So there's going to be a lot of solidification, a lot of new learning. Now remember, please, that no one is an expert overnight, so be kind, be patient, and know that as soon as you start building your map, then you immediately, incrementally start becoming increasingly more powerful. Just give yourself time. Every little step counts. Now, what does this series look like? 6-part series, live webinars, 1 per week for 6 weeks. And they're going to be offered in the evening hours so that as many of you as possible can interact with us online live with all your comments and questions and concerns. Now, I want to be specific and walk you through each webinar module as well. The first one is really going to be a deep dive with regard to what a comprehensive evaluation should look like. What all the key parts, all the key components that should be a part of the evaluation, we'll make sure that they're there and make sure that they're done properly. Now, I have to tell you, after 25 years and almost 1,000 evaluations, I have some pretty specific ideas about what should and should not be included in these full evaluations. Now, that's the first module. In the second module, or the second live webinar, we're going to take a look at the another breakdown of the WISC-4, the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children, 4th edition. You're all familiar with that. But as many of you have learned already, it's a very, very, very important test, especially with regard to parsing out language comprehension issues. So we're going to take a close look at the WISC-4 in terms of its role in diagnosing dyslexia overall. In addition to that, as many of you also know, understanding working memory and processing speed is super critical for our kids. It really tells us a lot about how their brain is wired and that impact that it's going to have in the classroom. So we're going to try to see if we can create a way for you to understand how all those puzzle pieces fit together. Okay, so that's 2. Now in the third module, we're going to be going back to, as you know, one of my favorite tests, the comprehensive test of phonological processing. Now this is again a deeper dive where we really deconstruct what the test can do and what the test can't do. But I'll tell you that one of the key questions I get a lot is, can we really use this as a pre and post test when there's intervention involved? In other words, can we test the child at the beginning of the school year and then work with them, whatever we're doing with regard to phonological processing, and then go back and test them 4 months later? So we're going to talk about how that gets done and what needs to happen for that to be done properly. So there's 3. In the fourth module, or the fourth live webinar, we're really going to go after this whole idea of the interaction between attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and dyslexia. Now, this is a sticky one. Boy, this is really tricky. But I'm going to give you state-of-the-art understanding of how we begin to start parsing out those pieces and give you some effective language to talk about it, and also arm you with the data to understand, okay, what seems to be the attentional part and what seems to be the dyslexic part. So that's going to be a big one. We're going to spend a whole hour on that. Now, the fifth module, the fifth live webinar, has to do with a question I also get a lot, which is, how do we understand the diagnosis of dyslexia with gifted children? Not only that, how does that impact, your negotiations with the schools and the way in which you help the schools understand how your child's brain is wired and the impact that that's going to have on their learning. So we will, again, parse out all those pieces as well and hopefully provide you with really important information that you can make use of as you work with the school. Now, the other part of that, too, in the fifth one is that we are going to spend some time talking about what your child may look like when they're gifted and dyslexic, in the lower grades, in the middle grades, and the higher grades, and talk a little bit about what kind of preparation they're going to need for college. Now, we're going to wrap it up. Sixth module, the last live webinar, is going to be, again, an example of the art and science of interpretation. So some of you may know that I've actually done some videos where I will take a test, I will take an evaluation from the very beginning, soup to nuts, and I'll walk through it with you and help you understand what's in the test, what's in the evaluation, what's not in the evaluation, maybe reasons why. Try to put all the pieces together in a way that makes sense so that we, at the end, have a clear understanding of what diagnoses were made and why, and the impact that that has on treatment. And whether that treatment happens to be in school or out of school, we'll discuss that as well. But I found that to be particularly helpful for parents. They ask for it a lot. And quite frankly, you're going to find yourself to be a much more effective and much more powerful person in terms of being able to attack and understand your own evals when you get them. You're going to have a really interesting experience, because you're going to see that in the beginning, when you go through all these webinars, there's a feeling of, oh my goodness, there's so much information here. But you have to understand that, yes, these are live, but they will be recorded. You'll have the opportunity to look at them anytime you want, over and over and over. So if something really sticks for you, you have a couple of options, right? You have the option to just watch it again. You have the option to ping me. You also have, of course, the option of the community, reaching out to the community and asking them questions. But I think you'll find yourself to be much more adept at the way in which you approach the process of kind of deconstructing your own child's evaluation. I mean, you're going to be impressed. I really believe that. Now, what that also means is that in the end, you're going to be much more, I guess, you're going to know more than the vast majority of your peers. And that may also mean that you're going to know more than some of the teachers that are working with your kids. So that's a very powerful position to be in. And you're going to have to think about how you want to use that power. And I think I'm going to include a discussion about that when we get to that point in these series of webinars, because that's how you work with the schools is going to be a very important component to whether you're effective or not. Now, okay, so let's talk about the cost for the series. Because I teach, because of the web, I can teach so many more people at once than I used to be able to. And that means I can charge less, right? So to tell you the truth, that's the main reason I chose to start this online company. My dream forever, for literally 25 years, has been to find some kind of way to reach thousands of more parents than I can when I'm just sitting in a private practice. So now, because of the technology, I'm able to do that. So, in my practice, I charge $250 an hour for a single family to come see me. So if I were to teach one family the information I'm going to provide over a 6-hour period, and that's not counting prep period, then I'd charge $1,500. Now I don't need to do that. I want to make the expertise I have available to as many people as possible. So I'm pricing this series of 6 live webinars at $299. Now that sounds crazy. That's 80% less than I normally charge, but I'm willing to do that. I just want to I want you to be clear. Don't expect to see a price this low again. I'm building my community, and so this is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to go even take it a step further. I want to offer you the opportunity to receive bonus materials as well for no extra charge beyond that $299. Many of you know that I've recently interviewed Von Lauer. Dr. Lauer wrote his book about IEP negotiations called When the School Says No, How to Get to Yes. I mean, his expertise is, all about how you want to get what you need for special ed services for your child. And he's been in the business for over 30 years. He really knows what he's talking about. He's got a very powerful model. And of course, the IEP process is a pretty hot topic these days. So just as I have tailored my webinars to your most pressing concerns, Dr. Lauer has structured his book around these real life stories that really resonate with parents. And so to couch his basic concepts in these live situations really brings it alive. So the first interview, we just talked about his model. But this time we're going to bring it alive. This time we're going to deep dive into one of his stories about a family that fought hard and then learned to work smart and then ultimately get what they wanted and maintained or built a positive relationship with the school team. And they were very effective in getting some pretty sophisticated assistive technology for their child. So Dr. Lau is going to allow me to create a second interview with him free of charge. That's an additional value of about $250. So all in, we're talking about $1,750 in real value for $299. Now, I don't want to talk a lot about money, but it's important to be very clear and very upfront. So, and here's the deal. Registration's going to be open for a few days starting right now, because I'm going to start the first webinar on Tuesday, June 10th. And so I need to, these are live webinars, so I need to lock those down and get going on the prep for that. So the shopping cart will be open for a short period of time, several days, close to a week. But so then you'll have to make your decision and go ahead and register. So here's what I want you to do. If you're ready right now, scroll down the page, click on the Buy Now button. That's going to take you to a PayPal page where you can make, obviously, a secure transaction. You can process your payment. And once that payment is successful, then you're going to be taken to a thank you page. That's going to provide you with all the details that will help you understand when the next email comes that will give you the link so that you'll have access to the live webinar. Okay? Now, remember that first live webinar is at 7 p.m. Central Time, and that's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Western Time. Tried to do my best to get everybody as possible in there at a reasonable time. And that'll be 7 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday, June 10th. Then every Tuesday evening for 6 weeks, we'll have another live webinar. And again, we'll also be recording those. So if for whatever reason you register and you're not able to make it to one, don't worry. We'll have it for you, and you can look at it as many times as you want. So I hope this is, well, I know it's going to be incredibly valuable for you. I know it's going to be meaningful for you because I've been fielding questions for you for months. And so I am very invested in making sure that you derive great value and that you enjoy it, and that I can be useful for you. So thanks for listening, and I hope to be able to get working with you soon.